Hello, everyone. Welcome to my Oracle Path. I am Stephanie Smith-Roos, and I thought I'd stop in today to share some ghost stories. I've been asked about some of my experiences with ghosts and from my paranormal investigation days. And I thought I'll add in a few tips on how to bless your home and know when to bless your home and clear the energy in your space. So, growing up being empathic and a little psychic, I found that most of the houses I grew up in were haunted. That was my experience. And one of my most defining ghost stories is a house in my small hometown. And there was so much activity in that house. It was really uncomfortable to live in. You felt watched all the time. Someone was in the room with you. Something was in the room with you all the time. And I think as I look back on it, that was probably the most emotionally tolling part of living in a space like that, was the constantly feeling as if something or someone is in the room with you. Beautiful old house. And incidentally, I want to mention the people who live there now have reported no experiences, zero experiences. So I think when we have this opening, this portal in ourselves that we can hear and speak and be close to these things, that they tend to manifest much more clearly. So I'm about 11 years old, and I've taken to sleeping with a Bible under my pillow. That's what I knew to do at the time. Um, Things would move, like toys. My mother would tell me to pick up toys, and I would, and then they would somehow end up on the bottom of the stairs for someone to trip over and hurt themselves. Um, Things in the living room with like ornaments or plants would be, we'd wake up in the morning and maybe they'd be situated in circles on the floor. So uh, there were some pretty terrifying, strange things happening. Often you'd hear dogs barking. Um, and again, just that terrible sense that someone's always in the room with you. I'm about 11. It's time for bed. I've got my favorite stuffed bunny. It's around Easter time. And I'm almost in that place of being asleep, like you're awake and asleep. You're twilight. You're kind of drifting off. And I felt this bunny pulled out from under my arm and under the bed. So it pulled very hard out of my arms. And so I remember starting to shake and not be able to catch my breath. And I thought, where did the bunny go? Oh, I just dropped it. I must have dropped it. And so I gather enough courage to look over the side of my bed. So I look over the side of my bed and kind of lean down. Um, and the bunny is there. So I think I must have just dropped it. It's fallen out of my arms. So when I reach down to pick up the stuffed bunny, it's then yanked under my bed. I was terrified. I remember like pulling the covers over my head and wanting to scream, but no sounds would come out of my mouth. And in addition to that, I just knew something was standing right beside my bed. Um, Eventually, I was able to peek out and see a small boy there, and he was smiling at me. Um, he was in period clothes and transparent, but there he was, just wanting to play and be mischievous. And that, my friends, is my scary 11-year-old ghost story for you. that house was a trip. Um, my mother even moved her room from upstairs to, she made the library her bedroom because in her bedroom she experienced something breathing in her face. And she thought it was my dad. And she opened her eyes and it wasn't him. No one was there. She tells the story that her feet didn't touch any of the steps on the way down. She was so frightened, and she did not sleep in that room ever again. That became kind of like a storage room in the house. I guess I want to move towards some of my paranormal investigation experience, and the thing with the television shows is they seem to show um, paranormal experience just about every house that they go to. But what I found is most of the time it's not ghosts or spirits or your passed away loved one causing things to happen. My experience, it's usually our own energies, our own emotions just kind of confined into a space. So I really suggest cleansing your house or blessing your house um, with a change of seasons. If you've been experiencing depression, you're going through a grief process, a death, a divorce, sickness, all of those things. It's very important to take care of the energy of your space. Your home is your sanctuary, after all. It's where we can find shelter away from the everyday stress of life. And so my thoughts and my practice is that I often will try to not only keep my energies clear in my space, but also add to them blessings and comfort and all the things that the energies that I want to invoke into my life. So cleansing, most definitely when you're going through some things, but even in the off times, just adding to the sweetness of your environment. Um, I have a dedicated meditation space. I have a few different altars in the house, but one of my favorite is my home altar. And you can do this on, a small table or wherever you want. The point is that I'm adding to the sweetness of my environment. I'm invoking and inviting the presence of spirit to keep my space clean and to keep me and whoever else is in the house feeling comfortable and happy and connected with the divine. Those are my goals. Your goals might be a little different, but really taking care of the energy of your space and taking control, it's important, and it will add blessings to your life. It will just add so much to your life. So I have a mantelpiece and I keep a candle there along with stones that I might have collected on a hike from where I live, or sand or leaf, pine cones. You can keep a picture of your family or the people that live in the house. You can keep that nearby. It's just really pretty and a place where I can put my intentions to keep those blessings flowing. I often use a candle, and a white candle is appropriate. You can use other colors if you want. This is a very intuitive practice. So the most important part is calming yourself, centering, grounding, and then just asking for the blessings that you desire for your home. So I often ask for sanctuary, for peace, and that we can hear and feel spirits supporting us and guiding us through this life, that we may, live up to our purpose and to be of service. again, your prayer might be different. Your words might be different. So there's so much here. We could do a consecration of the candle. We could sage and clear the candle, and we could spend time practicing or saying our prayer that we would like for our home and for our lives. I often take a marker and if I'm working with planetary spirits, which I do quite often, you could take and put the symbol of Mercury on there so that your communication is clear. You could use the symbol for Jupiter and invoke some energies of expansion. It could be any of your deities or gods or Jesus. It really doesn't matter. But what's important to you and what do you want to see? What kind of energies do you want to feel in your home? So after I say the prayer and I could put sigils on here too. You could do whatever it is that you want to bring to your family. And then this candle will sit on that altar and I burn it every night. And the cool thing is when you go to relight it after you get your prayer all loaded up and your intention set, when you go back, it's a deep breath and you light the candle and you just feel that energy, that blessing, that lovely spirit to just kind of settle in around your home. So when you burn it until it goes out and then you do another. I'm living in Chicago now, and there's a great Catholic and Hispanic demographic, and I've really been enjoying some of the Catholic inspired candles. This is a prayer to the helping hand, and sometimes they'll have an actual prayer if you're not feeling too intuitive to do your own. I'm not Catholic, but I do love the energy that the saints kind of bring in. So be creative. You could use a pillar candle and just use words that you would like to see more of. So you could say blessings, prosperity, peace, love, joy, like all the things that you might want to see present in your home, you can etch into that candle. So it's a little candle magic, yeah? What I love about all of that is it makes us stop and take a minute to really think about it. We may want those things in our lives, but if we're not putting our intention and some action behind it, it's very hard for that energy to flow to us. So this just really reinforces that daily prayer for our homes, for our family, and keeping the energy nice and clear. I really encourage you to try that out. You'll begin to see shifts with your children. You'll begin to see shifts in your interactions with your loved ones too. So you want to cleanse and bless your house at the change of the seasons. Obviously, if you're working with lots of spirits and deities, then you definitely want to cleanse more regularly. If you're going through shifts like sickness, depression, if you've just moved into a space, you definitely want to clear that out. To add to the sweetness, maybe you don't need to absolutely clear the decks. And my teacher had always talked about sage. Sage clears the deck, everything. And I have found in my experience that to be true as well. The plant medicine does what it's supposed to do. So I don't always use sage. If I want to invoke like a sweetness, of blessings, and just kind of bring more of that deepening of connection with spirit, I like to burn copal. And this is very helpful. Just know that there's so many things that you can use. I do have sweetgrass, and lavender. Lavender's great to sweeten the energy of your home as well. And of course, we have the San Palo, which also sweetens the energy and just makes it more open to receiving blessings. And I don't know, it opens my third eye, opens my crown, so the inspiration and joy and all different kinds of things can come more easily to me. If you're thinking about the environment of your space, what is the environment and what are you contributing to it? So hours of reality TV or the news blaring, it changes the energy of your space. And I guess that's where I'm going. I want you to be more aware of the energy of your space, and to contribute to the clearing of it. Speaking of things to burn, just as a sidebar, I found black sage for psychic clearing, and I have to tell you, I've been doing so many readings lately. This stuff works great to just kind of clear out the third eye and any leftover energies from other people, especially if you're doing the kind of work that I do. I highly suggest black sage. So there are things that you can do to invoke these beautiful energies into your life and begin to make it a practice. I think it counts towards meditation. I think it counts as just getting in tune with yourself and your environment and what you bring to it and what you want to build and create in your life. So there's that. I don't know if I have more scary stories for you if you're interested in them. There's so many to choose from. I'm thinking of paranormal right now, a paranormal investigation. I went to a couple's house and they were so sure that their house was haunted, and I'm sitting in the basement in the dark, and they had deer that had been hunted and mounted, just kind of laying all around the basement. And sitting there waiting, and none of my spidey senses were going off. And it just so happened, all of a sudden, I saw this green, shimmering, ghostly sight off into the corner of the basement. And I'm not feeling anything. I can certainly see it with my eye, but I'm not hearing or sensing that that it's anything otherworldly. And this is what I noticed. They had glass block windows in their basement and a green jar or jug sitting in such a way that when a car went by, the reflection of the headlights hit the green glass and created this human-shaped ghostly apparition. And when we moved the bottle, that went away. So these are some funny, it's just a funny story for paranormal kind of investigations. Often I would be disappointed because there's nothing there to talk to or work with. Anyway, I hope that some of you found this useful and that you might be able to put some of it in practice. And I wish you well. Happy Halloween, Samhain, and I'll be talking to you again soon. Oh, as always, if you'd like to work with me or you'd like a session, you can make your appointment on my website and find out more about me if you want. And that is myoraclepath.com. All right. Be well. Take care, everyone.